nice smile, relax the facial muscles and the head. After we have allowed the body to relax, second preparation is to improve the way we breathe. Breathing is one of the most important components of the practice of Hatha Yoga. In fact, all yogas depend on, all yogas meaning even talk about Raja Yoga or the art of mind yoga, karma yoga, work yoga, or jnana, the art of contemplation, bhakti, the art of devotion. Still, breathing is a very important component. In fact, you can see that many seers, practitioners, self-realization, attained clarity and inner strength, realization through awareness of the breath. If we are not aware, then we feel that we have no direction. So, by placing our awareness occasionally on the breath, a few times in an hour, gives you clarity and keeps you in touch with your inner direction and intuition. Therefore, in Hatha Yoga, we place a lot of importance on the prospect of aligning ourselves with the breath. And the breath has to have this nature. One, it has to be longer. Two, it has to be slower. And three, it has to be deep. Means it has to the best of your ability, reach the depth that it can go in a slow manner. And to hold the breath according to your capacity. It has to be comfortable. Exactly how you are also structuring your movements. And all this is seen and observed by the mind. This is the third preparation in Hatha Yoga. The mind is observing how the body is moving, how we are incorporating the breath with the movements, and how comfortable we can keep the body. When we are allowing this experience to take place, comfort, steadiness. Steadiness means it's not only when you are static, but steadiness in the flow towards the asana, performing the asana, coming out from the asana, observing how the breath is flowing in, holding, exhaling. All this is also part of a dynamic steadiness. So you have static steadiness and you have dynamic steadiness. And the mind is watching. Eventually then the mind becomes more steadier. Sometimes it may not be steady, but you are aware of that too. So awareness of when you are steady and when you are not steady is part of our new culture of allowing the mind to be more conscious. So all of this is part of this training. It's not simply a physical exercise only. There's many wonderful benefits in Hatha Yoga. Healing takes place, emotional ventilation takes place, the mind is able to relieve some of the pent-up thoughts during the practice. So this is the reason why you need to just watch and continue with, watch whatever is happening in the mind, don't curtail it, just allow. But your focus, the conscious focus is on what you're doing. The subconscious focus, the subconscious, which is also at the level of subconscious focus, is to allow and ventilate the mind. So therefore, healing takes place in many levels. That's the reason why we have a 5-dimensional approach to yoga. Okay, let's start with this. Let's have a nice smile. We keep the hands at the back, feet upright. And we kneel and we stretch the toes forward. Beautiful warm up. For all the joints, exhale and stretch the toes towards the body. One more time. Breathe in. Here we start the coordination with the breath. Long, deep, slow. And then we hold. Then we exhale. Same concept. After exercising the toes, we exercise the ankles and the calf muscles in here. Exhale, nice, beautiful, stretch and tone. One more time. And ankle rotation to the right, breathe in nicely, beautiful. Stretches, exhale, back to the center, opposite direction. Slow, slow, relax, deep. When we do slow, it's the stretch is deep. Towards the center. Inhale, slow and deep. You do fast, we miss a lot of the stretches, opposite direction. And how to coordinate the breath when we do fast. So that's why it is important to keep the breath slow and with the movements slow. And the mind then gradually is able to concentrate. Knee contraction, breathing in, tighten and strengthen, and heal the knees. One more time, inhale and release. Slightly, breathe out. Now interlock the fingers. We don't keep like this. We don't keep on top. It's interlocked, and then here the stretch is nice. Bring down to the ankle. Exhale. Feel the stretch. Inhale. Do your best to straighten the leg at the back. So we're toning the muscles. We're working on the joints. Which joints? Knee, hip, muscles, quadricep, hamstring, abdomen, lower back, and hold from the left. Breathing in. We also need to be aware of what's happening to the musculoskeletal system. Respiratory system, yes, we have a respiratory system is the breathing part of it. The musculoskeletal means how you concentration on the muscles, on the joints, on the bones. You need to visualize even the bones being strengthened here. Which bones? The hip bones. Yes, the hip bones are being strengthened. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, and breathing out. Come right leg, half lotus. Nice, beautiful massage. Massage is always pleasant. You can always massage yourself. Gives you some nice natural oils without any chemicals. You can nicely enjoy a good massage and then half butterfly. Yeah. Beautiful stretches to the knee and the hips. Exhale. And we hold the breath. And breathing in. One more time. Breathing out when we hold. Inhale and stretch and we hold. And hip rotation. Inhale, rotate up. Exhale, rotate down. Opposite direction. Very nice, beautiful stretches. Gently unlock, realign. And then the other leg. Again, nice relaxing massage to the toes, to the sole, to the heel, to the ankle. Exhale, stretch. Wait and hold one more time. Getting more in tune with the body and the movements. Opposite direction. Breathing in and breathing out. So as we do with the awareness of breath, we are working on the art of being more conscious. But we are relaxed, we are conscious, and we are more conscious and we are relaxed, more aware. Doesn't mean that this conscious means you are awake. No, I'm talking about the mental dimensions. Breathing in, conscious of what we are doing, our actions, our emotions. We are also aware of our emotions. I take a look at that. You know how important management of emotions are. Breathing in, nice deep stretch to the fingers, thumbs inside, plus start exercising muscles. One more time. Beautiful exercises to rejuvenate the joints of the fingers. Inhale up, exhale, nice deep stretch down. And strengthening the wrist, lower arm muscles, and then thumbs inside, wrist rotation, stretch to the right. Breathing in, breathing out slowly, opposite direction. Slowly inhale, and then up exhale, nice deep stretch. Nice. Elbow bending, inhale. Exhale with resistance. One more time, resistance, breathing in, strengthening the shoulders, upper arms, and which joints? Elbows, and the other joint, shoulder joints. See how well the rib cage is expanding? Exercising the respiratory system. The system also needs the help of the musculoskeletal system, intercostal muscles. And your skeletal is your rib cage. Keep the shoulder joints rotation. 4 fingers closed, thumbs stretch. Inhale up. Pull out the index and middle fingers. Breathe out. Release. Exhale down. Back to the center. Opposite direction. Breathing in and up. Breathing out. And back to the center. Neck asanas. Inhale up. Exhale down. Right and left. Can you feel how nice it feels at the back of the neck when you do this gently? Not only feels not tilt like an exercise with the neck, but also you can feel very strong rejuvenation to the spinal bones of the region of the neck. And finally, eye exercise, such an important organ, the eyes, one of the main senses of information, knowledge. And if there is some faulty eyesight, then the sourcing for information will be also affected. So we keep the eyes nice and healthy. And we have completed. We bring the hands to the knees and have a nice smile. We have completed more than 17 asanas to warm up the body through this technique called Pawanmuktasana. We have allowed the circulation of blood, heat, air, and prana to take place effectively, and you can also visualize. Good visualization is always helpful. You can visualize your heart, arteries all cleansed and healthy. Visualize the tubes all clean, and your heart is strong and healthy, and all the other organs too. In this, we move to Surya Namaskar. Please come. Balance the weight equally on both sides of the legs, relax the whole body. Visualize a tiny image of the sun, Surya at the navel. Manipur chakra, inhale up to the eyebrow center, the Tripati chakra, and feel the energy expanding and filling the whole body with light energy and healing power. And the energy comes out through the pores of the skin and surrounds the whole body, 6 feet on all sides. And feel that you are connected with Surya, the sun. You are able to draw energy and power from the sun for rejuvenation and inner power. We draw a portion of the energy back to the eyebrow center, Tripati chakra, exhale down to the navel, Manipur chakra. Let's begin. To the edge of the mat, the front of the mat, still on the mat. Inhale. Exhale, stretch. Right leg to the back, right knee down. And the fingertips, toe tips all in one line, raise to the fingertips, project the left knee forward. Inhale, keep projecting the left knee forward, expand the chest, squeeze the shoulders down, next stretch. Present moon. Now we're breathing, exhale into mountain. Knees down, chin chest. Inhale, Asana. You can do a baby cobra like this. You can go all the way up. Make sure the shoulders are squeezed. That goes up and next stretch. Inhale. Exhale, moon pose. Now breathing. Come back. Raise the knees, walk forward, small steps. Breathe out. Right leg forward. Left knee down. Breathe in. Extend the chest, squeeze the shoulders down. Left leg. Exhale. Inhale. Project abdomen. Exhale. Okay, that was right side. Now we do left side. The rest good. Come on. Breathing in. Breathing out. Left leg is now right leg, now left leg. Inhale. Ardha Chandrasana, present moon. Mountain. Breathe out. Pranayama. Down. Inhale. Squeeze the shoulders down, elbows back, stretch. Exhale, moon. Come back, cat. These are not still normal breathing. Because you need a lot of time here to come up to the mountain and then exhale, stretch. Left leg forward, normal breathing. And then we inhale into crescent moon. Normalize the breathing as you move to the next asana. Exhale, stretch down. Stay the reach. Again, inhale. Forward. Exhale, Namaskar. And we have done 24 asanas here. 12 on the right, 12 on the left. So it's actually 24 asanas. The body is warmed up, circulation is improving, breathing is better, mind is more focused and concentrated. And these two great forces, the Ida and Pingala, yin and yang, slowly awakening. You're going to lie down. The art of yoga is based on energy. Now, using the physical body, you release the energy, and the released energy is again absorbed by the organs and the cells. In yogic thought, the practice, when you're practicing yoga and the art of breathing and meditation, the energy is kept in the chakras. They are non-physical in nature, but they are energy systems. And when you again do the practices, for example, pranayama and hatha, especially hatha yoga, the asanas, they are drawn out from the chakras and distributed to the body. The reason why hatha yoga is such an important component of our practices towards self-development, health, rejuvenation. Let's do deep breathing. Breathing, oxygenating, and breathing out. What time come? Deep breathing is one of the most important activities that you should do. One of the most important, more important than watching TV, than anything else, than many other things which we may eventually find it's not helping us in our health reculturing. I would call this reculturing because this is a culture which we have to adapt into our lives so that we can have better quality of living. Better quality of living means physical, mental, and emotional good health. Now we're going to work on the abdomen. This is Uttan Padasana, leg raise pose in Ardha Padmasana, in half lotus. So the right leg is bent and the right foot is kept on the thigh, on the left thigh. But if there are any issues with the knee and the hips, then we place the leg down, and when we raise the other leg, the right leg is still left down. Is it clear? Okay, for the rest, you bring the leg up and you bring the other leg up. So the right foot is on the thigh. Remember, this knife also give you an alternative to be on the floor. So you understand yourself and you know what to do. But I'm also showing you so that you have some example. Now I'm holding my leg, and up to me how far I want to go. Yeah, how far I want to go. And then I can bend my arms. I can go a bit further. This is up to you, and you must be aware that you're doing your best it's a pleasant experience. Sukha means it has to be a pleasant experience. It should not be a painful experience. Nobody wants pain. Dukha, nobody wants dukha. Sukha means happiness. Right? Do your best, and you're breathing in, and then when I breathe out, when I go up, I breathe out, and I bend my arms and use my arm strength. Also, it's not only to tone the abdomen and the thighs, but also there's a good stretch here on the hamstring. And what happens to the joints? These joints are being influenced right from the ankle, knee, and hips. Of course, the obliques, rectus abdominis, and these big, beautiful muscles in the abdomen are also exercised. Take a deep breath in. Please, and breathe out. Now the other leg, again. Decide whether on the thigh or on the floor. No issue, on the floor. See? The other leg on the floor. It's slightly up to you how. And so here we breathe in, then we breathe out. Beautiful stretch. You can really feel the stretches in the hamstrings early in the morning, and the stretches are more deeper. You can feel it deeper. So in the morning, the practice is a little bit tough on the stretches because the body is still not warmed up fully, but it allows us to really feel the stretches. You can really connect with the stretches. And next we are going to work on the sides and the back. This is kind of Bhujangasana, Shavasana. Shavasana, the snake pose where you balance on the abdomen and you raise your legs and the body on the floor. Like this is on the sides, and the hands are interlocked. So these are quite slightly a little bit more coordination. So the hands are interlocked and placed at the back of the head. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to push my stomach to the front. Right? I'm going to push my stomach to the front, and I'm going to keep the legs to the back, and I'm going to push my head and my shoulders to the back like a bow. Right? So at the end of the practice, I can really feel a good contraction on the back. It's not a stretch on the back. It's not stretch. It's contraction because you're pushing the legs and the head to the back. It cannot be a contraction. It cannot be a stretch. It's a contraction to the entire spine. It's a contraction to the entire spine and a contraction to the erector spinae muscles at the sides of the spine, the lower back, and the gluteus contraction. Come, breathing. Squeeze. Squeeze. Please don't bend your legs. Keep it straight and ankle stretch. And then move to the other side. So where's the stretch? The stretch is here, the abdomen, the chest, and the rib cage. Nice, beautiful, wonderful experiences for the body. And it's also kind of like space oriented. You are able to feel the space. You're moving into different space. And space is also a very important component of yogic philosophy. Now, yogic philosophy, as you can see, we are all practitioners. Yogic philosophy is an outcome of the practice. It's not theoretical only, it's not speculation. It's an outcome of our practice, of our breath, of our body, of our mind, what changes, what happens. Legs are at the edge of the mat and your toes are up. We place the hands like this and we push. Right? First we push with the elbows, inhale, and then we stretch out the arms. So this is definitely unsupported. Unsupported is like that, right? Chalamba. This is niralamba, unsupported. But first, push up with your elbows, and just be aware of those. For those who have back issues and neck, just be aware. Those who have neck, I think quite easy because you just keep your head neutral like that. For those who have back issues, my suggestion is for you to keep the elbows down. Inhale up, come. Inhale up, push. And then those who have no issues with back, push your arms out and stretch. So we all supermen and superwomen, is that we need to have that feeling. There is a superior strength and power. Not superior from others. We do not develop those kind of complex thinking about superiority and inferiority. We don't go into that. Ours is more of an equanimity. We are trained to see equally at all times. Squatting bound pose. Squatting. You can do half squat or full squat. Half squat will be like that. This asana can be done in many ways. You can also lean against the wall. I'm just showing you the half squat. The left hand is here, and then I lock at the back. Little finger here, little finger turn, thumb is here, you can feel the thumbs, and then I lock. Otherwise, like this, I can lock. I have to turn, and then I lock. And then I attempt to go down from a half squat. Full squat will be like this. Full squat, hands in the center, lock. Doesn't matter which hand you want to put in the center. And then you attempt to lock at the back, and we do our best to stretch down. We stretch towards the right toe. If the left hand, if you have used the left hand in the front, and then you stretch to the right toe. And then you attempt to stretch to the left toe, even with the same hand, locked. Right? And then you stretch to the down, to the center. Right? Exhale, stretch. Beautiful, beautiful asana. Because the moment we open the arm, you can feel the shoulder and the more on the shoulder joints opening up. Now the other hand. Remember how the placement is in the center, and then we turn. We bring the little finger down, and then we turn inside. With the arms bent, the arm has to be bent. If it is straight, bent, and then we can rotate. We can rotate, open up the shoulder, and we go down. Doesn't matter which toe you want to go down to. Go down. Where can you feel? You can feel the opening up of the pelvic floor. Wonderful asana. Beautiful asana for the pelvic floor, for the hip joints. Lower back opens up. Okay. And then let's attempt with both hands. Both hands in the center. Rotate. And we stretch down. So you can stretch to the center. You don't have to go to the toes. We stretch down to the center. Opening up, opening up, opening up, opening up. So we need to remember that as we practice flexibility improves, that is the key to flexibility. Persistent and consistent practice. And in all sciences of the body, say sports science or physiology, science of physiology and yoga, the anti-aging component is only based on almost like, not only, but almost 70-80% is based on the flexibility. The more flexible we are, the less aged the body and the mind feels. We're going to go down and we're going to do some deep breathing. After we're going to do some standing asanas. Take a deep breath in and breathing out. And flexibility, again, one more time, deep breathing, can be seen to reduce if you don't do the stretches after 48 hours. So 48 hours. Within 48 hours, you must do it. That means every other day, your practices must be done. Now, we are practitioners. We also feel the same. But if we don't do within 2 days, then there is a little drop, 10 to 20% drop in the flexibility and tone. So you see how even long-term practitioners can feel this. Sadhana or yoga practitioners are lifelong, consistent and persistent practices. It's like eating food or sleeping at night. You do it every day, isn't it? The same thing, you need to create a new culture. A culture of exercising every day or every other day. Now we're going to do the Garuda Asana. You can go against the wall. Then do the Garuda or the eagle pose. The left leg is on the floor. You need to bend the left leg and bring the right leg over the left leg. Bring the right leg over the left leg. Okay, this is one. Now, you don't have to lock it. You can keep it outside. So this is another component of emotions, the culturing of emotions. You don't feel that I'm not doing well. All of these negative things throughout. I'm doing my best. It doesn't matter whether like this or like this. You are doing your best. You are focused on yourself. And then you lock your hands at the back. Hold. How you want to hold at the back doesn't matter. You can hold at the wrist. You can hold at the elbow. Legs are in Garuda Asana. The hands are in the arm lock. Then we're going to bend the legs. We're going to attempt to do a forward bending. It's a bit tough, but we can do our best. Is it wobbly? It's wobbling because your central nervous system is taking part in the exercise. What is your central nervous system? Your spinal cord, your motor and sensory pathways in the spine are activated and they are coordinating with some of the coordinating components in your brain, such as the coordinating mechanism in the brain is working in tandem with the spinal cord. So your central nervous system is being activated. So it's actually a brain exercise. This, whatever you're doing when you do this, many of the asanas are brain exercises. So the moment you tie up the leg and balance on one leg, the other leg, the leg that is on the floor is wobbling, isn't it? Are you doing it consciously? No. The brain is taking over and attempting to balance you. Therefore, feeling imbalance, feeling that you want to fall, all of this is healthy. Right? Bring the head down. So this wobbling, feeling like you want to fall, all of this is a positive component of the exercise. You should feel good. Even if you like wobbly and falling, you should feel good that you are training and exercising the brain. Central nervous system is starting to be activated. In normal life, when you fall or you wobble, people laugh at you, isn't it? That is an emotional issue. So now when you are doing this, when you do this, if you fall and you feel good because you know it's part of an exercise, next time in public if you fall or you kind of like tumble, it's okay. You hit something and you feel like you want to fall and somebody laughs at you, it's fine. All of this, you've already trained yourself to have this emotional stability. Next is forehead to toe stretch. Sirsha Pawanmuktasana. Pada leg. Gusta, one part, component. You choose whichever side, it doesn't matter. I'm going to the left side. And I'm placing since it's my left leg, I'm placing my left hand under. And I can feel an intense stretch here on the hamstrings. Right? And I'm rotating my leg at the back, my foot at the back. And I'm going towards the big toe. I can place my knee on the floor. Why not? I can place in that stretch, or I can lift my knee. Therefore, you see that yoga practice gives you a lot of empowerment. That the instructions are given in freedom. In freedom is for you to exercise freedom of choice of how you want to approach. The instructor doesn't intervene. The instructor empowers you. The teachers, the gurus empower you in order to find yourself. The teachers, the Sifu, the Laozi, your gurus, Siddhartha, all of them, their work is to empower you. Minimum intervention. We use our words, our instructions, our examples, our vibrations, and our lifestyle to inspire. And on the other side, you feel, and then you make your decision. You listen to your body intuitively. You feel that this is what I can do, this is what I should do, this is the maximum that I can go today. It doesn't mean tomorrow you can't experiment more. Tomorrow maybe you do less. It doesn't mean that tomorrow you have to do more and more. But what is most important is the consistency of doing it. The consistency of doing it. More or less, in certain days, we are not bothered about that. Alright, keep breathing. This time we're going to keep the legs close to each other, hands close to the thighs, palms lifting up, breathing in, oxygenating. And breathing out. One more time, here. Oxygenating. And breathe out. Nice smile, relax, enjoy. Be at peace with yourself. We're going to do some stretching, some partner stretching. Today, since we are not allowed to touch by law, we don't want to break the laws and get into trouble. This is also wisdom. You want to be a rebel, you also be aware of you can be arrested. So since you cannot touch, so we touch ourselves. Supposed to be with partner pool, but we are going to do by ourselves. And we're going to go to the left side, right hand to the left foot. Use your arm strength and bend the arm. The left hand is at the back. Right hand holding where? It doesn't matter where. Hold the heart. Bend the arm. Stretch. Use your arm strength. Not the back. Keep the back relaxed. Use your arm strength. We don't want to strain the back, but no. Very few people have problems on the tricep or the bicep. I have not seen anyone having any kind of issues with the bicep or tricep. Maybe shoulder joints, yes, but not bicep or tricep. Therefore, you can fully utilize the bicep and the tricep. Do this stretch without engaging so much on the lower back. The lower back is more relaxed. Use your arm strength. Tricep, bicep, no issue. You can really fully utilize the tricep and the bicep. Remember, you should feel the tricep and the bicep. You feel that? Okay. On the other side. So the position of the hand is like this. The four fingers are outside and the thumb. Can you see? You can see my hand. See? The four fingers are outside. So the four fingers are aligned to the little toe. If you look up from the four fingers, the little toe will be aligned. The thumb is aligned with the big toe. And you bend the leg, bend the arm and stretch down. You are bending the arm. Why are you bending the arm? So that the tricep and the bicep are engaged. One more muscle is, see, if you touch your arm, this place, this is bicep, this is tricep. If you go up, this is called deltoid. You can feel the deltoid engaged, and you can feel the trapezius engaged. And also, if you feel here, this part under the armpit, the latissimus dorsi. So many muscles are engaged. Okay, next we're going to do a side stretch. Side stretch, we're going to do like this. You're going to place your left hand on the thigh, left hand on the right thigh, left hand on the right thigh, right hand. So the concept consistent, we are going to be consistent. Tricep, bicep, deltoid to the other side. Doesn't matter whether we touch the leg or not, but the hand is above the head and you're looking up. And which hand is engaged? The left hand. You are using the left hand to pull yourself down. Left hand to do a side stretch, and the muscles engaged are so similar to the frontal stretch. But the latissimus dorsi, these muscles, the leg muscles are very deeply engaged. On the other side, right hand. Don't hold the knee. I don't want you to hold the knee because the patella should not be moved so much. It can be contracted or the thigh. And then just do your best. Just do your best. And don't force yourself. That is rajasic. Tamasic means not doing anything at all. Sattvic means doing your best and enjoying it. Remember, if it is too aggressive, it is no more yoga. No more. It's just some form of aggressive exercises which eventually lead to some kind of not so good issues to the body, because the body's journey is towards pleasure and happiness, not pain and agony and misery. No, not at all. We want to be happy. We want to enjoy life. So the concept of yoga, deep breathing of yoga is that enjoyment, the happiness is from the self. Self means from the self. Self. They have a word for this, self. Wall supported bound lotus pose. Tiptoe. Pawanmuktasana. You can go near the wall, or you don't have to. You can put your hand here. If you're using the wall, you put your hand here. And if not, you can. If you're not using the wall, you can put the hand here. And then from a tiptoe pose, where I place the heel, the tendon here, the Achilles tendon on the anus. If it is not comfortable, you can place it on the buttocks. Whichever leg is better. You place it on the anus. You place it on the anus because we want to exercise the perineum. The perineum. For ladies, the space doesn't exist, perineum doesn't exist. For guys, we can feel the perineum. But it is a massage on the reproductive organ. During menstruation, you may not want to place the heel on the anus, you want to place it on the gluteus, on the buttocks. And the other leg, either you can keep it straight or you can bend it. Now to you, just choose. It's straight or you can bend it. And then step by step, taking the hand up for a while, a few seconds, and then humbling, falling. All of this should be taken in a stride. And you should feel confident, you should feel comfortable. Even if you fall so what, you laugh at yourself. It's all good ways to improve self-esteem. Laughing at yourself once in a while in a positive way, it's okay, it's fine. So the practice itself has so many components. It has a psychological improvement component. It's an emotional maturing component. Maturing because you're practicing, you're doing your best. You don't mind people making fun of you falling down in the group class. It's okay. It's just fine. You're making somebody happy. So those kind of components culture your mind, so that we can live in society in a way where it is comfortable. And if you look at the concept of yoga, which came from the practices, is yama and niyama. And one of those is community living. The code in yama is community living, being able to live with society in a nice way, in a happy way. You cannot isolate yourself from society, so you learn how to live with society, with awareness, and that itself becomes a stepping stone towards self-realization, breathing. At all times, we are focused on the objective. Even though I'm talking to you, I'm communicating with you, but my mind is focused on the objective. The objective is to teach you yoga, to share the yoga, the art of yoga, the yoga concepts and philosophies, which only came from the practicalities. And now we are lying down, yes, but there's an objective. The objective is I'm lying down to stabilize my pressure, my breath, my heartbeat, so that I can do an inversion. See, there's always an objective. And living with objective is fine, it's beautiful, and it should be. Take a deep breath in, come, breathing in. The wrong word that sometimes we use in social interaction is the ulterior motive. This person has an ulterior motive. Throw that out. There's no, here we have a very positive, there's an objective. You say there's an objective. You don't say there's an ulterior motive, there's an objective. And as yoga practitioners, our objective is always beautiful and positive. Therefore, we can take out the word ulterior motives from our vocabulary, work with objectives. Now you're going to do wall-supported handstand. We can go to the wall. Wall-supported. I'm facing away from the wall, and I'm measuring myself a little bit. And I'm thinking about 2.5, almost about 3 feet away from the wall, and my arms are about 1.5 feet away from each other. And then I'm going to go up. Now this is good enough. Okay, this is good enough for those who have neck pain, neck issues. Keep the head neck quite neutral. That's it. That's all. And then you change. What are we doing here? In this position itself, you're strengthening your arms. You're bringing greater circulation to the face. Those who have issues like detached retina and severe migraine or headache issues or high blood pressure, I wouldn't suggest this. I just suggest you just do like that. Just like from a cat pose, you just come up like that. Keep the head neutral a bit. Don't allow too much of pressure to go to the head. Are you clear about this? Right? Just do this. So still start. Hand strengthen. That's it. Yeah. Just do that. Right? For those who have none of these issues which I mentioned just now, then you can go like that. And up to you how you want to go. How much. And keep the leg straight. Don't bend it. Don't bend the leg. Don't bend the leg, please. Just keep it stretched. Keep it stretched. And you can, of course, change. Right? Can you do it? Let's do this. Inhale and keep the legs straight. Keep the leg straight. When you stretch it away from the wall, keep it straight. And if there are no issues with the neck, we can always work on keeping the neck stretched. If there are no issues. If there are issues, then keep the head neutral. Keep the head neck back neutral. Let's do this again now. Okay. Done. So now we're going to do some Shavasana. Lie down. Now we are lying down in Shavasana. Shavasana is a yoga posture. With the legs apart, feet sideways, hands away from the thighs, palms facing up. Adjust the body so that we're most comfortable. Have a nice smile is also a yoga posture. Smile. Sukham is a yoga posture. Now in Shavasana, in this nice, beautiful art of lying down, we are going to start some methods to rejuvenate and relax. So the first is to keep the mind receptive to the idea of deep relaxation. So we say this in our minds. I allow myself to enjoy an excellent state of physical, mental, and emotional health through the practice of yoga. Let this sink deep into our consciousness. Let there be transformation. Parinama, transformation. I allow myself to enjoy an excellent state of physical, mental, and emotional health through the practice of yoga. Let there be some deep induction of these words into your system. One final round. I allow myself to enjoy an excellent state of physical, mental, and emotional health through the practice of yoga. I think. Have a nice smile and let this sink into our system, because we want parinama is a very important word in Yoga Sutras. Transformation. You want to transform. Right? We want to transform. In order to transform, we must be humble. We need to be humble. I mean, you can be famous, you can be loud, you can be well known. All of this is no issue at all. You should market yourself to reach more people and spread the good word. So it's a positive form of expression. But what we want to do is that the transformation is that the way as you grow in your popularity, in your articulation, ability to articulate, you're articulating things which are beneficial to the world, not superficial things, not superficial ideology or superficial method of just making everybody happy in a superficial way. It doesn't last. There's no transformation. Parinama means deep transformation. You have so much of values, you have so much of talents. These talents are to be utilized for the transformation of humanity towards evolution. This is what we want. We want society to evolve. We want society to be more matured, more enlightened. I mean here, more enlightened. That means everybody has in their own ways some form of enlightenment. We want everyone to be more enlightened in the way of living, in the way of thinking. And to do this, there must be essential goodness. And this is a very important component of our rethinking the way the mind is behaving, re-evaluating, reculturing it. There must be an element of goodness, no prejudice, goodness to all. Can you imagine how beautiful this kind of mind can be? To everyone. Even those who seemingly want to hurt us or are prejudiced against us or have lots of biases towards us. Sometimes people, we don't even know the person, the groups, but they are in such a way, they are brought up in such a way, they have been conditioned in such a way to be violent, to behave in a bad way towards another person just because their color is different or their race is different, their religion is different, or the nationality is different, or the way they speak or their language is different. Isn't this unfair? I mean, isn't this like an ignorant mind, like an ignorant state?
It's called avidya. The yogis and the seers have already understood avidya very clearly. Therefore, they say that through the practice of yoga and through the sharing of the yogic philosophy, avidya can be removed. Then vidya comes to play. Vidya means knowledge. So therefore, you as practitioners of this authentic, genuine art of Hatha Yoga should go there and share. You have the right tools. Share. Now I have seen over the last 30 years so many ways of presenting yoga. And unfortunately, they are so rajasic, so aggressive. And don't talk about breath here, because no component of breathing or is structured into that. It's just a body just showing how physical it can be. And it should not be like that. To look at the original intent of Hatha Yoga is to do it with stiram and sukham, steadiness, a dynamic flowing steadiness, static steadiness, with a happy state. Now, when you are enjoying a happy state, and because the body is relating how it feels nice, it feels so light, it feels so much of pleasure in performing. When you come out from that practice, how is your emotion? It's very nice, isn't it? And when you go and interact with people, you want to be nice. You want to be nice, you want to be gentle, you want to be loving, you want to be compassionate. There's no way you will be able to, or to beat someone, or to physically injure someone, or to look with a discriminatory eyes or with a prejudiced eye. You won't. So how important it is to practice in the right way. And maybe more than 50% of yoga practice out there is faulty because they are not adhering to this due to no fault of theirs. They just didn't get an opportunity to learn the authentic art of yoga. I don't blame anybody. It's just that they didn't have the exposure to the original system. I'm not saying the right system, the original system. The original system is that system which produces the right results. So if more than 50% of yoga practitioners in schools which teach Hatha Yoga, Pranayama and Dharana are not adhering to the authentic original teaching, so which means that the outcome is almost the same like everything else. People jog, run, play rugby, football, whatever they do, and then still the prejudice, the distortions are still there. It has not changed. But an authentic practice of Hatha Yoga, adhering to the rules and the concepts of non-violence, compassion, kindness, with breath awareness, to be compassionate and kind to the body, to the mind. When you fall, you still can enjoy it. So all of this, when you come out of that class or that practice and you go out, there is only compassion, kindness, love. And let's start by relaxing the toes and ankles, thighs, relax the arms, stomach, chest, back, in between the shoulder blades, neck, face. Have a nice smile. And observe the stomach enters, stomach expands naturally. Leave, stomach relaxes. Inhale, stomach expands, exhale, stomach relaxes. Observe this for some time. Then now go to the rib cage, and when you inhale, allow the rib cage to expand. Release, allow the rib cage to contract. Continue with this. To the chest. When the air enters, allow the chest to expand. Release, allow the chest to relax. Continue. And finally to the nose. Enters the nose. Count in your mind 18. Leaves the nose. 18 again mentally counted. enters, natural count, natural breath, 17, leaves by itself, 17. Continue counting the natural breath. Count mentally when I smile. So visualize that you have got up early in the morning and you are in your own house or maybe visiting someone, but you want to practice. It doesn't matter whether you are in your own house or visiting someone or in a hotel room because of some work related travel or during a holiday. It doesn't matter any of this. What matters most is that you consistently practice. Get up in the morning, you practice. If morning is not a good time for you for whatever reason, then evenings after your work, must make sure that you are practicing, because the body needs the practice. Just like how we eat our meals and sleep at night and answer the calls of nature, the body system needs yoga. I'm so sure of this, that yoga is a forgotten part of our daily lives. It has been forgotten for whatever reasons. The time may hold the key to this understanding of why it was forgotten, but as far as I am concerned, through my years of practice, I realized that yoga is part of what the body is supposed to do, equal to the daily meals, answering the calls of nature, breathing, and sleeping. Yoga is an essential part of this. But again, the right way of practicing yoga, this is so important. If it is not, then it doesn't make up that part which is essential. So it's also, that means the vidya, the knowledge is so important. It's the reason why we want you to share. You learn, you're learning from me, I'm sharing with you. You have the right to go and share. Exactly as it is, exactly. So you get up in the morning and you practice as with all the concepts in your mind. You already know how to practice, how to move and how to enjoy the processes. So with this, then bring the awareness back to the body. Feel the body is fresh and rejuvenated and you are happy and cheerful because vidya, knowledge, is descending upon you as I talk and as I share this with you. It's descending, it's clearer, you get an understanding, knowledge eventually allows you to attain greater self-realization and go to keep on perfecting your life. Come up, and we are going to do this pranayama to clear the nose. We block one nostril, and to clear is just to keep the mouth closed, and we just exhale. The breathing is very moderate. Now, I have seen some schools and some practitioners in YouTube, and just I get a shock when they do Kapalabhati with so much of aggression. Yesterday, I was watching one where he was doing this. What is going to happen is for someone who has migraine or high blood pressure, I think the pressure is going to shoot up like this. Or definitely not part of Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga is about balance, right? We have to be kind. This kindness is total. Mind, kind to the mind, kind to the body. See? Still accomplishing the objective of clearing the nostrils. See? That's all you need to do. And then after that, wait. No hurry to go to the other side. Wait. And then the other side. See? Stomach moves natural, isn't it? Only breathing out. Mouth closed.
Now it's clear. If it's not clear, then we can do alternate. How you want to do? Like this, or all of this is okay. You cannot be too entrenched in too many rules and regulations and say that, oh, this is the only way you can do. No, not necessarily. We're not fanatics. We're very reasonable, mature people who can think with our own mind. Somebody says this, we take those points which are okay, which are not okay, just discard it. Even me, if you feel that whatever I'm saying, some part of can be taken, some part you need to analyze and wait for some time, it's okay. It's all right. You're done? Very much a common sense approach. Can you see? Can you see that the whole art which I'm delivering to you is based on a very high level of common sense? To listen to the body, listen, hear what the body and the breath and the mind is saying, and then move towards it. Move. It's not that if the body says, no, you don't do, sleep, eat. That is, don't listen to that. Listen to that which asks you to move, because yoga is a movement. Yoga is a movement, union towards. The concept of yoga is towards, to. Yoga means to unite, to merge. How to merge without movement? There must be a movement. Breath movement, physical movement, mind movements. If I'm seated like this, you feel, you think I'm not moving? No, there's lots of movements internally to preserve this posture. To preserve the posture, there are lots of tiny micro movements in the body. To keep even relaxed is a movement. To keep myself relaxed, to have a smile, to keep the back and the stomach and the chest expanded and relaxed is a movement. Yoga means a movement towards development, evolution of the body, breath, mind, emotions, ideology. Ideology means here is not a fanatical or limited view of life. Ideology here is the ideology of expansion. The word yoga means merging with your higher life, higher consciousness. The lower mind, which most of the time dictates human behavior in life, is merging with the higher mind, which comes up into reality, into your reality through your practices. And it's so important that we practice the right art. Sometimes we have a saying that, oh, whatever they practice is still what? No, it is not. Whatever we practice doesn't bring lots of good results. There are some people who have practiced certain arts which has created so much of pain and misery to the body, and the body becomes very affected by those practices. And some of the practices make people aggressive. I don't want to name what they are. You should know there are some practices which increase our temperament, our anger, our violence. Just want to beat up somebody, want to be aggressive and all that. Or some practices even in yoga, where after that you feel temperamental, you feel aggressive. It's not that yoga is wrong. No, that is not yoga. They may be branded as yoga. They may give itself that a name. Yoga this and yoga that and so many other names to make it beautiful and make it branded, and the person who is delivering is able to convince you, is a very good salesman, very good marketeer, but doesn't mean it is true. Doesn't mean that advertising, that whatever that we see as an advertisement with lots of words being spoken, beautiful images, doesn't mean it is true. All that glitters is not gold. All that glitters may not be gold. You need to use your common sense, but in order to exercise common sense, knowledge must be there, and knowledge must not be based on blind faith. Because I believe in this because of some force or some authority which asked me to believe in this particular faith, and because from that faith I derive some knowledge, that is faith-based knowledge. What about if that faith is wrong and that faith is blind faith? Then the knowledge that is derived from that is also faulty, correct? So how do you come out of that? You need to exercise the freedom to think, to ventilate, to understand. And you only need a high level of common sense. Don't simply believe everyone, don't simply believe everything that is presented to you. Even they say there is scientific evidence. What evidence? What is this? Is this kind of manipulated evidence? This so in history of science and technology and politics and economics, so many has been manipulated. The data has been manipulated. The findings have been manipulated. The so-called scientific data has been manipulated, and then they put someone with lots of decorated awards and qualifications in order to convince you with their many degrees and many awards, and then when they say, and behind them there's just unscrupulous activities, just bad mind, very low realization levels, but they're presenting with you, they're presenting with all their credentials, and all of this is based on utter corruption. And this is presented, and you have fear. And fear is created because it comes from this very decorated individuals. And this whole world, for centuries, we have seen being manipulated through these manners. And so it is with yoga. Yoga has gone through so much of repression, so much of bullying, so much of consumerism. It's time for us to go back to the original teachings of yoga. The original teachings are very, very simple. Stiram and Sukham. As long as it is comfortable and relaxing, as long as you are able to do it, not do. Do it with moderation. Not too aggressive and violent, rajasic, or not doing at all, tamasic and lazy. Sattvic, doing it consistently and persistently and taking the right actions. Of course, we refrain from killing. Thou shalt not kill. You are not going to put something on your plate, and then you don't participate in any of it. For example, cigarette. Even if you buy cigarette and give to somebody, it is still participating. It is still participating. That means we come out from the chain of alcohol, from cigarette smoking, from killing animals, from the chain. Whichever part of the chain that you involve in, you are still propagating it. Let's say you come down, you travel somewhere, and then you come down to the airport and you say, hey, duty free, I buy some cigarettes and some alcohol for my friend and all. You are participating in something which is damaging. Why should you participate in that? You cut the chain. When there is no demand, there is no supply. So yoga is not just sitting there and just being happy with myself and my own world. No, yoga is going out there and transforming. Remember this word, Parinama, transformation. This is the meditation for you today. This is the way I want you to meditate, to think, to rethink your mind, your heart, your thoughts, your culture. All of this has to change to a higher culture, to a better culture, a universal culture, which then allows you to share and share and share and use all the tools that you have. Use all the modern tools to share. Right now, more than any time in the history of mankind, every individual, everyone has an opportunity to make the greatest changes in the world. Make it right now. Right now, in thousands of years of human history, right now is the best time we have to do this. With this, I would like to thank all of you for joining me today. Thank you very much. Namaskar.